Hi, this video is going to be on fixing a deck wheel, a very noisy deck wheel on a Hustler Raptor. This will work on all lawnmowers and different pieces of equipment, but that's what I'm actually working on. Here's the wheel. You'll see the center is worn out, so the bolt, which acts as an axle, has a lot of slop. So even with the engine running on the lawnmower, this wheel vibrates like crazy, rattles, and it travels right through the whole frame. It sounds like the lawnmower is coming apart. This is the old-time method of how to fix this. You can either buy a new wheel and spend a bunch of money, or you can do it this way. Now, the material isn't that hard, so you don't need a really strong punch or anything. Just this little gadget here, they come in a set of 4. They're very sharp, and all you got to do is tap it lightly. You just want to go about a 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch deep. Go all the way around and in as far as you can go. Do both ends. It's important that you do both ends. When you put these little holes, what it does, around the outside of the hole, it raises the material up. And that's going to take up any slack in there. Now this is an old-time trick the old-timers used back in the day. You live out in the country, or back in the day you couldn't even get parts on a lot of things. You have to order them and you sit around and waiting. You need to get a piece of equipment or vehicle, whatever, up and running. A lot of times you can use this trick to get them running, and it holds up. Like if you have a metal bearing, it's got a metal race. If you tap on, like let's say you have an axle and the bearing spins, it locks up and spins, it wears the shaft down. Well, instead of buying a whole new shaft, as long as it's not cracked, you just go there and tap around it just where the metal race of the bearing is going to sit, and then press it on and you're fine. Don't go past where the bearing sits, because if you've got a seal, it's going to cause the seal to leak. But this works. Electrical motors and stuff, if you have metal bearings, I don't recommend trying to do it if you have like a bronze bushing or something like that, because it will wear the bushing out if you do that. But if you're using a metal bearing and you're going to press it on, not a problem at all. And most of the mechanics nowadays, if they do this, good chance they learned it from an old timer back in the day, because it was very common back in the day. You even do it on the crankshafts on the end, not where the journals go, but on the ends of the bearings. You even do it on that and it'll hold up. There's a lot of uses for it. And I'm going to be doing some videos on engine parts and stuff. I've got a couple of engines I got to pull apart just for the heck of it. And I'll make some more videos and stuff like this. Now, when I put the bolt back in, which let's say acts as the axle, I will coat it with wheel bearing grease. That's normally, I wouldn't do that on a lawnmower because of the sand factor. But you want to do it for this so it smooths those notches down to match the shaft. If you don't, it's going to wear. They're going to wear down too quick. Once you put the grease on and they fit right down to the shaft, it's going to hold up just the same as if it was fairly new. Now, if you did this job right, when you put that axle in there, or that bolt, you're going to have to tap it. You should have to tap it in. If you don't have to tap it, you haven't done the job right. You don't want to put too much grease, just enough to make it work. There's a washer on the top and the back of the wheel that goes on that bolt. You want to have those washers on. And what they do, they will help keep the sand from getting in there. There's also a nut that goes on the back of the wheel. I didn't have it in the video. I should have probably included that. But that nut that goes back there, the washer goes against the wheel, then the nut goes against that washer. You tighten it up, and that takes the side slop out of it from sliding sideways. You can see it still spins just fine. And I did have to go back on mine. When I put it on, the wheel had a little bit of side slop in and out, and I had to adjust that nut. But that's all you do. Just tighten up the nut a little bit more to the wheel, and that takes care of it. Now it goes in the top hole. Once I put the nut on, wind it on by hand a bit, put a pair of vice grips on at the hole, and use the impact to tighten it. Very simple. But you'll see when I put this wheel on, it spin absolutely fine, but there's some side slop, and that's what I went back and tightened the nut. Didn't want to make the video too long, so I didn't show that part. See, that's what I'm talking about, that side slot right there. If you adjust that out with the nut that's behind it. And you can see it spins absolutely fine. Now before, if you start the engine, that wheel would actually be spinning around, shaking, vibrating right through the whole frame. Drive you nuts. I think the lawnmower's coming apart. This works on different pieces of equipment. It's not just this particular lawnmower. Now if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. And you copy in that link to the bottom. Over 70-some videos. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe. Have a great day.